This is the beginning of this. So you want to start recording. Super simple. You press the record button. You always want to start off with the beginning being extraordinarily, you got to be quiet at the beginning there, right there. Record what you're going to record. Super simple. And as soon as you're done recording, you're just going to want to shut it off. You press stop like, any normal person would just press stop. So you're going to want to just press stop as soon as you're done doing all of your talking, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm talking and I'm recording at the same time. You can see the wave files and all of that. But you always want to make sure that that beginning part up front is super duper empty and you stay quiet for the beginning, because no matter how much you think that there's not a lot of noise in your room or your mic gets rid of it, there's still noise, as you can see right there. So what you want to do is you want to go make sure that you're using that tool there, the one that looks kind of like an eye. You're going to cursor over it. It's super simple. You guys all know how to cursor over. You want to go up, click Effect. Then you go down, click Noise Reduction. Right there. Super easy to find. Click it, press Get Noise Profile. And then it's going to get the profile of that area right there that you cursored so that it can take the background out. Then you want to go up to the top up there next to File and cut that. You don't need it anymore, so you can cut that right out. Look at that. It cuts it out super easy. And then you're just left with the file without anything done to it. That's just the file. So you want to click on the left side there, just in that box, and it will make basically cursor over the entire thing for you. Go back up to Effect. You want to go down again to Noise Reduction. You go down to the bottom of that box and just press OK, because you've already gotten the noise profile. Press OK, and it will very, very quickly, sometimes faster than others, take the noise out of the background. As you can see, it takes the noise out of the background. So that you are starting with basic noise-free, but with your thing. Now you want to go up, you want to compress that file because it does make it louder. It changes the wave file enough, but it also makes it louder. And to me, it makes it sound really good. As you can tell, it changes the wave file into looking different. You're going to want to test it, see how loud it actually is. If it goes all the way up to where it's in the red, you're pretty safe that it's loud enough, where it's just bordering on the red. If not, you're going to want to turn that up right there. That's the volume right there. Remember where that button is, because that right there is the volume, and that is the most important parts of what we have to do too. So if it's not loud enough, turn it up, and then you want to move on. So there's that. And then you want to take whatever background noise you want to have and bring up a file, any file, whatever background music you're going to use. I'm just going to use this one right here because it's right there and simple. And it's going to upload real quick. And now it's uploading. We're waiting for it to upload. All right, now it's uploaded. And as you can tell, it's a different size file than your talking part. So in order to get rid of all that extra so that you just have it equal with your talking part, you're going to want to take that same tool that you have right now, that funny eye looking thing, cursor over the part that you want to delete. In just a second, cursor over the part that you want to delete. Super easy. You just go right up to the end of the line there. That part's over. Go up to Edit, press Cut, and it will take all the rest of that off, and then you have an even file. Super simple. There you go. Now the only other thing that you really have to do is, because right now it is set up for, it is the same volume as you're talking. So you want to go to the volume and make sure you turn it down. That's the volume right there. Make sure you turn it down. About 26 for a normal file that looks like that usually is sufficient to turn it down to, minus 26. So it should be all good there. The next step, you can check to see how it sounds. It sounds great. The next step would be, of course, you want to, we're going to export, if you're just doing a talking part, actually you're going to import another file because you're going to want to add songs to it, because I'm pretty sure you guys are just going to produce your whole show. So bring up another file, another song. It'll bring up another WAV file in just a minute. And while it's bringing up that WAV file, yeah, you just wait a minute till it brings it up. There you go. There's the WAV file. That's what a normal WAV file looks like. They all look a little different, but they're usually pretty big like that. Usually. So now you want to take the time shift tool, which is that funny little arrow down there, and that moves that whole track. So you want to move the track over to where the end of your talking is and line that up. Make sure it's lined up okay. And there you go. You have your first track added and you're good to go. Make sure that you don't have any extra super duper long tail on the end. Yeah, and you're all lined up and ready to go. So next, you're going to want to press File. There you go. Press File and Export Audio. Now, mine always exports as a WAV file for whatever reason. And just because this is an example, you can name your file whatever you want. Make sure that you name it whatever so that you can find it. Then you're going to want to press save in a second here. Yeah, see, mine goes out as a WAV file, but you can change that from a WAV file to an MP3. For whatever reason, mine doesn't like to do it right, and I like to try to make my files a little smaller. So I just leave it as a WAV, and then I swap it. I change it later. So now here's one of the important parts. You want to press clear when you after you press save. The thing will pop up to get rid of the metadata. You want to make sure that you get all the metadata gone, press clear, and then press OK. Super simple. Now it's exporting. It'll end up on your computer. And then if you have a WAV file, you need to convert it like I do. If you have an MP3, your MP3 should be ready to go, pretty much. That's the simplest way to explain that. Yeah, so we should be all good at this point. So now I'm going to show you, that's the undo button if you make any kind of a mistake or you want to go back. Anything that you do, if you want to go back and change it, you can undo it. It'll undo it. It's pretty self-sufficient, pretty self-explanatory. See, it takes that file right off of there, and you can do that all the way, or you can just X that stuff out to get out of there. Either way is fine. But yeah, so we are moving along. Let's see if we can get this off of here real quick. And we are going to move on to the next thing that I want to show you in just a minute. Now you're back to a normal blank thing. There's a talking part and your the talking part and your first file. So now we're going to move on to the next thing that I'm going to use an example. Okay, again, if you're starting your show off, I'm going to walk you through it one more time so that you guys can see. If you're starting your show, you want to just super duper, it's easy. Press, of course you want to press, I always start off on the funny eye button so that things don't move around on me. Because sometimes you click something funny and things move and you don't want them to move. That time shift tool sometimes can be a little tricky. So I always use that other thing and keep that on there unless I need the time shift tool. And those are legitimately pretty much the only two tools that you're going to need out of there. So now we're recording. You want to make a point to make sure, of course, that you have that big empty quiet spot at the beginning so that it can get whatever noise is in the room and pick that up so that you can get it out of the background. So yeah, we're just recording like if you were doing a regular introduction to a song or to a show or whatever. Those are just regular WAV files, super easy. In a second I'm going to shut this off. Yeah, in a second I'll just shut this off, and then you'll have your original WAV file. So like I showed you before, you want to go back to the beginning with your cursor over that big empty spot there at the beginning. go up to effects, go down to noise reduction, click get the noise profile. Now that's only if it's the first time that you've done it that day. You don't have to do it all the time. Only if it's the first time you've done it that day. So then you want to cut that out. You want to noise reduce, because after that, after you've done your file, once it has the background noise in your room for that day, you're not going to need to get that background noise again. But it's always good to start the day that way. So you want to go in, you want to take the noise out like I showed you. Go into compressor, compress that file, because it does make it louder and it does change the wave file, and it makes it super easy. If it's not loud enough, turn it up. If it is loud enough, you'll be able to tell by whether or not it's approaching that red line. You don't want it to go like super red, because super red makes it like get rid of parts of what you're saying. So you don't want that either. So then you want to upload whatever your background music is going to be. Like I showed you before. Let's let that get up there. All right. Then you want to cursor over all of everything except for the part that you want to keep. And then you go back up to edit and you press cut, and it will take that right out. Yep, there you go. Now you have a completely even file. Make sure you turn down that background noise. Like I said, about -26 usually works, depending on what the file looks like. Now that's what a normal file looks like, and I'm going to show you a normal file. We're going to line up just a normal file. In fact, I'll probably just reuse this one again, because I know that one looks fine. So we're going to upload that. We're going to line it up so that it's your first track after your talking part. Move that track over with the time shift tool. Make sure it's lined up. You can always just click up there and it'll give you a chance to find out if it's lined up okay. And if it's lined up okay, then you're all good. Now, to import another file, I'm going to show you another funky file is what I'm going to show you. Because I've accidentally stumbled upon it, and I know it's a funky file, so I'm going to bring this file up and show you what they look like when they come up and they're not a normal file. Sometimes we get music from people and I'll show you in a second, it doesn't look the same as a normal wave. You see how small that is? Okay. That is going to be a super quiet one, and you don't want you want it to all be pretty much even. So what I always do is you scoot it over to the end there, because you want to use that track. Scoot it over to the end with the time shift tool to the end of the last track you added up there. And then I always, like I said, I always use that other tool to make sure things don't move. I go on effect, press compress, and that will turn it up. I don't know how exactly it works. I pressed the wrong button. I'm not sure how that happened. Oh, okay, I hadn't over-clicked it. I forgot to click it there, so that's my fault. All right, go to compress, press OK, and then you'll see that this file, the waves are going to change, and it basically turns it up and makes it where it'll be just fine, because it's on there and it's set up so that it will just not make it super loud, but not have it be super quiet. Even though it doesn't look the same as that top file, it still sounds just fine, but you always want to double check and make sure that it's loud enough. Sometimes you might have to go in and recompress it again. But see, it looks just fine. It's going right up to the red line there, which is absolutely perfect. So now you have two. I've taught you how to fix a file if somebody sends you a fucked up file. Because they send messed up files sometimes, and you have to fix them. So there you go, you are at the end. So now you want to export this file. So you're gonna press, are we bringing in another file? Apparently we're bringing in another file. All right, we're bringing in another file so that you can see how, basically that's how you would set up a whole show. You're just gonna keep bringing up tracks until you get to the end of your show. If you want to add extra talking parts, I forgot to add this on here because it's been a long time since I produced my entire show all as one. But you can always, he's going to want you to separate it out anyway. So just add those tracks, and when you're done, export that out, and the next time that you want to talk, you should be able to just start a whole new talking part. You don't have to go back through and do the noise reduction if you're doing it the same day or any of that. You just have to, or get the noise profile at least. You just have to do the noise reduction. You won't have to get a noise profile again that day. So it is super duper easy. This way everything is set up. Make sure there's not a super long tail on the end there, because otherwise you end up with a bunch of quiet. But then you just want to, and there's the other tool that you guys might want to learn how to use. It's the only one that I actually really use. It's a cute shortcut. There's the undo button. There's also copy and paste. You can copy that whole file that was just there. I just showed you how to do it. You can cursor over it, copy it, paste it next to there if you have an extra long talking part. But then we're just going to export this sucker out. These are just tests for me. Make sure you press clear in the metadata. In the editing metadata, you gotta make sure you press clear, because those things that are in there will mess up your file so that we can't find it when we put it on the server. So you gotta make sure you press clear. That's like one of the most important parts of exporting. Press clear, you see there's nothing left there. Then your file comes out perfect. It's super easy for us to find. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna get off of here. I apologize because I didn't remember to possibly show you guys how to, if you wanted to stick another talking part in there. But I'm pretty sure that he's gonna want your talking part, your stuff kind of separated anyway, so that we can put ads in between. Because you guys all listen to the shows, you hear the ads. This way you can do that. But yeah, there's a converter. This thing is also free. It converts all kinds of amazing stuff. So you're gonna want to go get this. It's free. You can, if you do a video that has like an interview in it, you can pull the voice out of it with that as well, and that way you'll have your interview already. It's super easy to use. You just import, export. It's really easy to use. It's pretty self-sufficient. If you have any problems, let me know. If you guys have any questions or anything after you watch this, let me know. I'm going to probably make another one that will hopefully, maybe I'll go a little slower if you guys need me to or whatever. Or if you have any questions, I will fix it up so that I can just do whatever it is that you're asking me to do to show you. But it's pretty much, that's the basic on what you're going to need to do as far as our shows go. That's really, you don't need a lot of stuff. There's lots of things you can do with Audacity, and the longer that you mess with it, the more stuff that you'll learn about it. There's still stuff I don't know about it. Like, I don't know how to use the envelope tool, which is, there's that tool right up there next to that I don't know how to use that. I still don't know how to use it. So there really is only just a few things that you're ever really going to use. So yeah, I just want you to have this all be super simple. Oh yeah, the last thing I wanted to show you is if you wanted to do anything that fades out a track, this is how you would fade out. Now you want to cursor over, like this is the intro to my show. So I always just take off that extra part because that's going to be the underlying music after I'm talking. But there, right there, you cursor over that part right there. You want to go up into effect. There's a part that says fade out, and look, it changes that thing so that it basically fades out. And then right about there's where I start talking, and then I bring up the rest of that file and have the rest of it in the background. It is super simple. Once you guys get the hang of this, once you kind of like watch this video and kind of walk through it, doing the things that we're showing you to do, it's super easy. And if you ever need to go back and look at it again, you have it. So there you go. See ya.